Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 3 of tips for transforming lateral violence in your community. And today we're going to be talking about one of the relationship toxins. This work comes from the work of Dr. John Gottman, Dr. John and his wife Julie Gottman, and he's an incredible relationship expert. Google him. He's done a ton of research, and he's narrowed most relationship problems down to 4 toxic behaviors. And so if we can work more effectively with the particular behaviors, we can transform the relationships. I believe he actually refers to them as the gateway to all abuse. So today we're going to be talking about blame and how important it is to be willing to resolve your conflicts without blame. That means a couple of things. First of all, ask yourself if you are willing to resolve a conflict with whomever it is, because sometimes we're not, and we're just perpetuating the conflict over and over again. And secondly, ask yourself if you're willing to resolve the conflict, if you're willing to do it without blaming yourself or the other person, because where there's blame, there will be no resolution. It keeps us stuck in a perpetual cycle of conflict. Blame it triggers defensiveness, contempt, and ultimately stonewalling. So if we can sort of develop an awareness around where are we blaming or being critical of each other, and sometimes it's not explicitly expressed, it can be implied. So sometimes we will just be in a space with people and we will get the sense that we're being made wrong, even though someone's not pointing the finger at us. So it's very, very important that we're able to, first of all, recognize blame and criticism when it shows up in all its varied forms, and then find the courage to be able to name it without making other people wrong. Sometimes what we'll recommend is if you're able to just recognize openly that you feel like there's blame in the space. It feels like there is blame that is entered into the conversation and that we need to slow down and back it up. Because as long as blame is there, we've become triggered and we begin to react in ways that are quite unproductive. And funnily enough, I think the toxins are so normalized in our society that it's become a normal way of dialoguing where it's conflicted. It almost feels, for some people, so normal that that's a productive way of talking. But we cycle around, and you'll notice that our conflicts are perpetual. So if we're not able to resolve on the things that are workable, you'll notice the same conflict rearing its ugly head over and over again in your various relationships. So just ask yourself, where is criticism, blame showing up? Am I willing to resolve the conflict without blaming myself or the other person? And work towards slowing down and naming it. Spend a week practicing. You don't have to say anything at first. Just notice in your dialogue with people in the different places that you go where blame shows up, whether it's at the grocery store with the cashier or in a boardroom meeting with chief and counsel or with an employee or an employer. How does it show up in all its different forms? And as we said, it's not always explicit. It's not like someone's finger pointing all the time, but there's a feeling, there's a critical tone perhaps that counts as blame. So to be able to say, let's stop, let's slow down, and let's work on our relationship, and let's work on eliminating this toxin called blame, because it prevents us from moving forward in our relationship. Again, go slowly, practice, hold it lightly, and have fun with it. And look up Dr. John Gottman. He's an incredible resource. Thanks. Have a great week.